What's up, guys? Recording this in my car. So if you hear any like cars passing by or any I guess any type of outside noises or whatever, that's because that's going on outside of my car. Um, I want to talk about the ability to keep going. So your own endurance, your own way of being able to get through situations, and types of places where you just kind of have to grind through it, right? You just kind of have to put yourself through it, put your nose to the grindstone and just push through, right? Pushing through. I feel like that's a thing I and many others struggle with. It's just one of those things where it's just kind of hard to do things that are hard, right? It's just a mental challenge, especially with all the distractions that we have nowadays that can lead us astray from being able to do things that are great for us or being able to do great things in general, things that are good for people. You'll realize that you'll be able to push through a lot harder if you're not surrounded by a bunch of distractions. But in a way, having those distractions available to you or around, but giving yourself the ability to, in a way, ignore them and keep them from basically keep yourself from being tempted or not leading into those temptations will make you a lot more disciplined, a lot more mentally stronger. Of course, it is going to be easier if you try and limit these distractions and limit these temptations in a way that won't, mess with your mind or your body. So you're just kind of not sitting there stressing about it. I feel like I might struggle with wanting to push through with things, especially when there's an option to where I can kind of just sit back and relax. But when I sit back and relax, I'm going to be worried about the fact that I'm not doing this, this thing that is supposed to be difficult. For me, that stuff is an exercise. I love doing exercise. I love working out. Sometimes I might find myself procrastinating to work out. But, especially now, I don't have any type of time to waste. So, when I have to get to it, I have to get to it. But with school assignments or some other type of assignments or things that are also productive, like chores, I always tend to just kind of like, I'll do it later, or I think I got time later. So, but you don't have time later because you have the time now. If you have the time now, then you can do it, right? The time that you're going to have later can be time that you can be spent chilling. And instead of using that time by doing whatever task it is that you had to do, and now you're going to be stressing through it, now you're going to be rushing through it, now you're going to have a bunch of pressure on you, and you might not complete it in a way where you might be satisfied with. And some people are going to be like, oh, I work good under pressure. I work good under pressure and stuff like that. Some people can work good under pressure, but some people just say that because it's cope for the fact that they're a procrastinator. I'm not gonna lie, I can be a procrastinator too. To be honest, when it came to signing up with school and everything, I kind of procrastinated on that. Throughout high school, throughout middle school, I procrastinated with assignments. Right now, I'd say that I'm doing pretty well with getting everything done, making sure I try and get everything within a timely manner. Making sure everything is balanced out for me. But for others, this is something that is really hard because managing your own time and managing your own, in a way, your own cognitive functions, right? Because you can get mental stress, you can get mental fatigue. So it's just you might focus so much on this one thing that now you don't even have the mental capacity to work on another thing. But that's why I think it's important to build up mental capacity through building up your physical capacity. Because when you're more physically able to do things, I feel like your mind is more mentally able to handle a lot more situations, right? When you're in a body that is light, when you're in a body that is strong, when you're in a body that, can move around very well, your brain is going to take that, right? Your mind is going to take that, what your body is able to do, and is going to be able to perform in a much better way, right? That's why I don't believe that your mind and body are separate. I think that's bullshit, right? There's people like, I don't need to train or I don't need to work out because I'm an intellect or whatever. But I think the fact that you're not training is stupid, right? You can know all about this. You can know all about whatever textbooks and whatever nerds like, and what use is it going to be if the body that your mind is placed in can be winded, or can be knocked out, or is very fragile, right? So it's important to get your mind and your body strong. So for those who only focus on training, only do training, you know if you're not in it to be like some type of fitness influencer, then of course focus on other skills, because just focusing on training and building muscle and building strength is going to diminish, especially if you're not like some type of top 0.1% genetic freak that can like lift big numbers and whatnot, or the fact that you might not be doing steroids or whatever. But that's besides the point. The point is that you have to keep going, with anything, unless you absolutely don't have to. But like, I'm not talking about like every single little thing in the world. But in terms of what it is that you're going through, in terms of the things that you might be suffering through, in terms of the things that you have to challenge yourself with, you have to keep going. It'd be crazy if with every assignment that I was doing, and I'm like, oh, this is getting hard, and I just stopped. I mean, I would be failing. I would be flunking, right? Imagine with all the workouts, all the squats, all the heavy lifts, and I'm just like, this is hard. I'm just gonna stop. I will get little to no results when it comes to working out, right? Even when it comes to like relationships, and at your working at your own job or doing things personally. Oh, it's getting difficult. I'm just gonna stop. You're not gonna progress in any type of way with that. You know, you need. I'd say you need to struggle and you need to suffer, but I say suffer in quotations. I don't mean suffer in like some brutal way, but I mean just putting yourself through, a type of mental anguish that will make you better when you get out of it. I believe that you need to go through something like that. I believe that is the human experience, that everyone should be going through in order to become a better person in general, right? You're going to become a much better person mentally. You're going to become a much better person physically. Your friends are going to see it. Your parents are going to see it. You're just going to improve overall. You might seem like a different person, especially if you've had a lot of problems when it comes to procrastination, or when it comes to sticking to things, right? Another thing is sticking to things. You can't just flip flop everywhere. You have to find something that you believe in, that you trust in, that you have faith in, and you have to stick to it. I can see if your ideals change, or if you become introduced to new ideas and things like that. Of course, you're gonna have to make adjustments, but don't be flimsy with your own beliefs. Don't be flimsy with your own goals. You have to hold yourself to a type of standard, because with standards, you're only gonna become better. You're not just gonna go out and date some like sleazy girl or sleazy guy, right? You're gonna have some type, unless you have no self-respect. But if you have self-respect, you're gonna have some type of standard for who you would want to be with, or what you would want out of your life. Think of the ideal person you want to be, and think of how that person would go and tackle any type of situation. Would they just give up at a moment's notice? Your answer would probably be no, because you would think that your ideal person would be able to persevere through any type of situation. Would this ideal person give up and just start, door dashing McDonald's and watching Netflix and, smoking weed or whatever? Your answer would probably be no, unless you know, are addicted to that stuff and you don't realize whatever addictions you have. But you have to have the ability to keep going through things. You have to have the ability to try and get as much done as you can in whatever time that you have, right? Give yourself, time, set aside time. And like how I said in an earlier video, having like a schedule or having a to-do list where it's like I'm gonna work on this for 2 hours, I'm gonna work on this for an hour, I'm gonna take a break here, and I'm gonna get back to this for an hour and a half. That helps a lot. I found that's helped me a lot when it comes to just trying to spacing things out and trying to balance things out. You always want to think about yourself in the future. You always want to consider your future self in a way, right? Like how you would maybe consider a child. Like if you had a child, every single decision you make is going to affect that child. Think of every single decision you make is going to affect yourself in the future. You know, when yourself in the future looks back on current you, are they going to be like, thanks, man, thank you, I really appreciate that you did that? Or are they going to be like, man, fuck you, you suck, whatever? So just, don't disappoint your future self, and keep going no matter what, man. Peace out.